consumers actively in the marketing mix is usually one part of the thing. We sometimes have clients that only run campaigns in which consumers are the spokespeople for the brand, do a lot of word of mouth, and that way help sell more products. But usually it's part of an integrated plan where consumer involvement is part of it. You know, for example, you have a TV campaign, and maybe the TV campaign invites people to join the active part of the campaign, and they come on a platform that we run, and then we work with those consumers, I don't know, 5,000 of them, 10,000 of them for 6 weeks, and that's an integrated part of the campaign. So usually that's what happens. For instance, we've worked with P&G on campaigns where there was a PR element, and the PR element was connected with our campaign. So we brought people to a PR partner website where they also posted stuff, and I like that. That's really fun when we can work with the other agencies and partners together. The budgets that we work with depend entirely on the context of how the campaign is being used. Sometimes as it's just a small part of an integrated campaign, and then our budget might be between, depending on the country and the prices that we have, between 30,000-40,000 euros, all the way up to 120,000 euros for the campaigns that we run. But we are already getting requests where clients say, we want your campaign to be the major part of what we do, and we are working with budgets that might have €1 million in it, where we do a lot of stuff throughout the year to make sure that there's so many people involved, so many people speaking about the brand all across the country, that it's just as powerful as TV. We work on our own platforms that we have built. We have built a software solution that we run either on our own website or integrated in websites of our clients, and we organize the entire dialogue with the participants on this platform. So that's the point where it all begins. The participants then talk to everyone else either offline, they have real-world conversations like in this room, or they post stuff on whatever social media they want, right? They post stuff on Facebook, on Twitter, they send stuff by email, they post stuff on their blogs, etc. We don't pay anyone for participation. That's important. If we were paying people or giving them something and saying, you know, if you do that and that and that, you get this, they'll start lying to us, doing all kinds of nonsense that we don't want them to do stuff with the brand that the brand wouldn't like. No, we need people to be motivated, to be excited, and to want to do it. They need to be motivated. That's the key thing. The most surprising thing in our work is that we always find and show clients that consumers really want to help brands. Many brands think that consumers are sick of them, don't want to hear from them, and this is the interesting thing. If you invite people to show up and say, those of you who are interested in this, please apply, then you can select from them the most motivated ones. If you know how to ask the right questions, right? You know, when they apply with the survey, they have to tell us about who they are and why they're motivated. Out of those, we find the best 2,000, 5,000 people. Then we go to them and say, okay, you've been chosen for this. Here's a product that we want to find out together with you how this works, what your friends think about this in your social circles. Test it, share it with everyone, go around to talk about it. Ask people, give them questionnaires, make it something of a social event. And then finally we collect all of the data and we analyze it. We have benchmarks from a 10-year history. We can go to our clients and say, look, this is what happened in your campaign, this is how active people were, this is what they loved, this is what they didn't like, this is the number of conversations they created, this is where they posted stuff online. And all of this works because we really perceive our participants like they're almost employees of the brand. They sign up and they become so involved that we can almost use motivation tactics from, you know, human resources. People need meaning for them to be involved in a project, so we say to them, we do this because it helps the brand be better. They need to feel they are choosing their own way of participating. We're not forcing them to do anything. They need to feel competent. They need to feel that the brand is saying, we need you. You know stuff that we as a brand don't know, so we want to work with you. And finally, they need to see some form of impact, that what they're saying and doing actually arrives at the brand and ultimately maybe even changes the product. People who really have a negative attitude towards a brand don't usually participate. It can sometimes happen, but you have to actually do a few things to get involved in the campaign. You have to, we asked you to fill out a fairly long questionnaire and so forth. If you don't like the brand, why invest all of that energy? There may sometimes be people who realize when they're in the campaign, okay, that product isn't for me, this isn't working. Totally fine. Because, we didn't force them, they tell us, we say, oh, too bad, but let's see how many of your friends feel the same way. Let's see, you think this flavor isn't nice. Well, did you ask your friends? Tell us, do 50% of them feel like you, 80%, or maybe just 10%? So, it's fine to not like a product. We make sure that the tone and the way people talk and post also on our own websites is always positive and constructive. If people start just yelling and screaming, we don't allow their comments anymore. But other than that, it's up to people to feel what they want. Proving ROI and showing the sales impact of our campaigns isn't always easy, but one thing that we can do, and we've done this recently in France, is test and control market scenarios. So we ran the campaign in one region of the country, and there's another region that is very similar in the way people consume. And we had a research company, an external company, comparing the two regions before and after the campaign. And they could show that, for instance, we increased penetration for this particular type of ready-made soup by 13% in the test region. If I was a small company that wanted to get people talking about my products and brands, I would probably start with a blog. I would set up a blog, not expensive, where I allow people to find out who we are as a company, where people can connect with me, where I say, okay, I don't know, I'm the product development guy, and this is what I'm currently thinking about. And people say, oh, these are real people, look, this is cool. They can maybe ask something in the comments. And starting from the first users or clients or consumers that we have that say, that company is different from others, they're open, they're listening to me, you can start to build a pool of people who say, I'm connected to them, I feel different about them than I feel about other people. And that's, I think, a good starting point for a word-of-mouth strategy.